Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the players for our women's team final between UCLA and Cornell. Introducing the players from Cornell. Gina Fu. Muskan Gupta. Irani Shastri. And Heidi Lin. Introducing the players from UCLA. Joanna.
Well, welcome to the women's team final. I'm Matt Hetherington. I'm joined by Barbara Way. Nice to have you up here, Barbara.
Thanks, Matt. It's nice to be here with you. I'm excited to see kind of the finals for the women's teams. I've been so impressed by how many women players there are this year.
Yeah, and UCLA's looking pretty strong. They had 2 women's doubles pairs in the final yesterday. So they've brought a pretty strong field of players. Me and Sean were talking before about how crazy it is that they have such a strong team, and they have 2 students in Rachel and Amy who are not playing, and they're still one of the top teams.
That's right. They have 2 players who were in the Paris Olympics last summer, but they're not playing. But their team is still incredibly deep and incredibly strong. They're the clear favorites here because of their depth, really, because they have 4 such strong players.
Yeah, I think Gina and Muskan have had some really great matches through the women's team event. I think Muskan's goal coming into this was for the team to reach the semi-final, so they've gone one step further here by reaching the final. They actually upset NYU in the semi-final, so NYU were the number 2 seeds. So Gina won 3-0 against Anastasia Wong. Muskan played Zhang Xiu in the second singles. So she won 3-0. And then it looks like Yu Yao and Tiffany Lam won their singles, and it did go to the doubles. And Gina and Muskan won the doubles, which, if anybody was with us here yesterday early, as far as I remember, I'm going to have to double check this before I say something stupid, but I'm pretty sure they played against each other in the doubles.
For this match, this very first match here, Gina versus Joanna, is just incredibly pivotal for the entire team match.
Yeah, I mean, Gina's been playing really great. She had, for me, what I thought was the best match of yesterday here on Table 1 against Jiaxin when they played in the team event.
Yes, that's from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign.
Yeah.
Deuce in the 5th, it was super close.
It was a great match, and Gina really brought everything to the table in that one.
Two-minute warm-up, and there is some fatigue, especially for these women's players who are super strong. They're doing double, triple duty, playing maybe double the amount of events as some of the men's players.
Yeah, so Gina and Muskan did play against Anastasia and Tiffany in the women's doubles quarterfinal, and Anastasia and Tiffany won that match, so I'm sure NYU would be pretty disappointed for it to go down to the doubles and to lose that and not reach the final. However, a great result for Cornell. And I don't know if we've ever really seen too much of Cornell in these end rounds of college table tennis. So it's a pretty positive sign for their table tennis team.
Yeah, and their entire program, and especially their women's program, kind of continuing to develop that over time. A little background about each of the players. So Gina's from Canada, is a Canadian champion, and now attends Cornell. Joanna, twin sister of Rachel Sung, was 2024 Olympian, grew up in the Bay Area. Trained with her twin sister, also her older sister, who also plays Trinity.
0-1.
All three of them are here this weekend. Yeah, Joanna was out here playing against Harvard. She played against Kelly, new player for Harvard from Hong Kong. It was a really great match, and Joanna played some really good table tennis. So this match is going to be interesting. I mean, Gina and Joanna are both really quick.
It's hard to say if we look at ratings. They're very similar, all in that 22 to 2300 range. And I actually think the exact rating doesn't matter. It's really about performance today.
Miss serve there from Gina. A bit of a slow start here in the first game.
I think both players know how important, especially on the Cornell side, this first match is.
Yeah. Yeah, they've definitely put a strong reliance on Gina to kind of get the team off to a good start in their matches.
Yeah, and here I feel like Gina is very aggressive, actually, but she's playing a little bit passive to start. I think if she finds that kind of aggressive play, as we saw right there, she can really catch up. It's, you're right, sort of a slow start.
5-2.
Ball goes long. Yeah, Joanna got off to a bit of a slow start in the last game that she played here on table one. She lost the first two games. But once she started playing more aggressively, the level difference was pretty significant.
Gina bringing out that long serve, tomahawk serve. See another one here. And from 5-1 to 5-5. And I think if here's that tomahawk and just going to that backhand rally. And I think if Gina plays more aggressive, she's sort of like getting into it, can really help her.
Yeah, I think in the backhand, you almost favor Gina a little bit. She's a little bit sharper. So I think if Joanna gets into backhand, she's really got to try and switch out of it quite early. You can see if she targets the forehand a little bit more, especially at the wide corner, that puts her in a better position in the rallies.
Now let's take a look here. So opening into that forehand for Joanna has been effective. I think we're going to see a lot of tomahawks until it stops working.
Yeah.
There we go, 3 in a row.
Yeah, I think when it's heavy topspin, it has a little bit of kick, and it's more likely that Joanna will play a safer shot back to the backhand instead of going to the forehand. That's where Gina wants the ball.
7-7.
Close first game though, 7 points each.
Yes, like felt like they were warming up in the beginning almost, but now we're kind of seeing the level come out and the strategies come out. Right, Gina's backhand is very strong. You can watch this forcing kind of this backhand rally. Right here is the attack.
Yeah.
Very spinny.
Clips the net, but again, Joanna looking for that forehand corner.
8-8.
I think Gina across the backhand half and a little into the forehand across the middle is pretty strong, but the wide forehand, She does tend to reach a little bit more.
8-9.
I see another tomahawk here. It's been working. Well, that is a nice series of forehands, covering that wide forehand.
Great first attack too.
And great first block, but Gina, that placement on that finishing shot into the middle is really critical. And it's Joanna with her own backhand, putting the pressure on Gina.
It's a little long on that one. Joanna Sung takes game one, 11-9. Pretty solid performance from both ladies here on table one.
I think some of the difference as we go into game two will be looking at who can really control that backhand line. It looked like Gina in the beginning, but then it sort of switched over to Joanna, so we'll have to see. There's a long match to go.
Certainly is. Yeah, I know one thing that Gina was doing really well in her previous matches was she does a really good job of being very direct in her placement at the body. So I think that's something that would work well against Joanna. Joanna's a little bit taller.
And what taller players, a little bit harder to move out of the way to get to the middle. These replays, a lot of great rallies that we've seen, and they kind of got better and better as the match went on.
Yeah.
Then this backhand line is going to be really critical. I think whoever really controls that has an upper hand.
1-0.
Until someone makes a switch and decides to play wide forehand.
You can see Joanna focusing a lot of her serve short to the forehand, so she's trying to get Gina away from that anchor position on her backhand. There's Gina getting the body with the serve and the follow-up.
1-2.
Big rally right there. We're starting to see a little more variation and moving each other around more.
Yeah, I think tactics-wise, they're becoming much more deliberate as the match goes on. That definitely wasn't deliberate. Miss serve from Joanna.
I saw her say to herself, it's okay. It's the right idea.
Joanna does well with that heavier backspin ball.
And Gina, saw a similar sort of miss in the first game. It was just so heavy. And also a little bit short, like a little bit half long. Makes it really challenging.
Again, Gina really looking for that elbow placement. Joanna making some good movement adjustments to give herself space.
And also upping the quality of the shots to make it a little bit more difficult to do that. Definitely some frustration from Gina's part. You know, she's setting this up. She's waiting for that forehand. And to miss it is frustrating. I wonder, it is early for a timeout, but it's not a bad time.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for Cornell to have a chance. I think if Joanna goes up 2-0,
It's tough.
it's a tough comeback for Gina.
Big rally here.
This time Gina really trying to get Joanna towards the corners.
Yeah, this one looks like Gina is really controlling the rally. Again, being very deliberate about the placement.
Ace.
Maybe she didn't need a timeout, she just needed a reset.
Yeah.
Quick personal reset.
Little clip of the net, but
And 5-3 down, 7-5 up, just a couple minutes.
you can see Gina's got really quick, compact strokes, especially on the forehand once she gets into the rally.
She's very quick, too.
Yeah.
There's Joanna here with that backhand that has speed and spin. It looks very similar when I watched Rachel play at the Olympics this summer.
6-7.
Well, that short forehand is a smart place for Joanna to go.
Yeah, and you almost see Gina maybe being a little bit reluctant to commit to moving across all the way, just because she knows the next ball's probably coming back to the backhand side.
And now the momentum shifts again.
Those will be frustrating unforced errors for Gina.
I feel like she feels the pressure, maybe much more than Joanna here. So there's this desire to really try to close out this game.
Yeah, it's definitely the mental pressure of, you know, for Joanna. She knows that regardless of how this match goes, she's got Angie and Crystal and Faith Tung, all pretty seriously strong women's players. Gina probably knows that this point is likely the most important point for Cornell.
Oh,
Great rally.
wow.
Nervous moment at the net cord there.
And Gina's so impressive in these long rallies. She backs up and she just kind of takes it slow a little bit. She's not rushing. She's very comfortable there. And that was very important for her. She's won all of the long rallies in this game. Ooh. I think that started off kind of putting Gina in a bad spot right from that serve receive.
9-9.
I think we're going to see the tomahawk. Probably a forehand follow-up is my best guess.
Wow.
Yes.
Good call. Nice. Long tomahawk, too.
Yeah. She hasn't used it in a while, and it's very successful as long as she kind of focuses on that forehand.
9.
And really good fight at the end. I think it was very critical that Gina had the serve at the end this time.
Yeah, definitely. Both players did well to control their nerve. I think they both clipped the net once each in that rally. Gina did a great job of regaining her composure. So, one game each, and
11-9, 11-9.
yeah, both players have won the same number of points, so it's an even split.
It's really about who can handle themselves best at 8-8, 9-9, potentially 10-9. And I think Gina is actually more dominant in the long rally. We saw she won all the long rallies here. But Joanna, I think the short to the forehand serve is giving Gina quite some issues.
Yeah, I mean, typically Joanna in the rally, her shots are a little bit more drawn out, just a little bit longer. Gina is pretty quick when it comes to countering. So, yeah, she's been really good in the rallies. She's done a better job of covering more of the table. I think in the first game, she kind of covered that backhand 2/3 well, but she was reaching a little bit on the forehand. So we've seen her kind of commit to that forehand side a bit more, and maybe Joanna serving there is, that's a great start. Maybe Joanna serving more to the forehand has actually brought Gina across to cover that forehand more.
Yeah, now she's ready.
Yeah, so Joanna's serve tactic of serving there is good, but it may be preparing Gina better for the open rallies.
And that heavy push into the backhand.
I think Joanna needs to do more of that, especially when she plays short. She gets Gina in short more, gives her a chance to play out long more. Wow, very direct.
And Gina's like, let me finish this. I see an opportunity. I see Joanna kind of easing into the rallies a bit more. And the same heavy push into the backhand. This time on Gina's side, pushing into Joanna.
2-2.
I think we're in for a very close match here.
Yeah, very point for point so far throughout the first 2 and a bit games.
I do feel if Joanna kind of unleashes this power, it's going to be very helpful to her. You can see this right here. That heavy push into the backhand.
Oh, big opportunity there for Gina, and she just sends it long of the forehand corner.
I think from a technical standpoint, she just didn't put enough spin on it. Kind of heard that clunking sound.
Yeah, it's always a fine line in women's table tennis at the speed they play close to the table to make those really quick adjustments to be able to play quick, but also maintain those safety margins.
I'm curious why Gina doesn't go back to her tomahawk. She hasn't used it once yet. And Joanna's much better returning the other pendulum serves, so we might see that coming in this end game.
Big opportunity there for Joanna Sung. She'd opened up the table pretty well. Had herself well positioned to finish it off.
Again, heavy push.
That's paid out a lot of points for both players across this match. Lucky break there. Most of the players concluding their team competition and now getting over to court 1 to see the women's team final. Of course, also as well right now would be the 3rd place match, which would be between Harvard's women's team and NYU.
And Gina brought out that tomahawk in that last point, the big forehand. Maybe she was saving it for the end game. And another heavy push, and we're back at 8-all.
You can tell how much pressure there is, because as we've gotten closer towards this point, the rallies have gotten shorter again. So both players really trying to tighten up and not play too loose.
Oh, goodness. Little nerves. Yeah, we're bringing back the tomahawk. Looks like it's an end game clutch move.
Nice.
Good placement.
Yeah. I feel like you're the campaign director for that. Bring back the tomahawk. I'm waiting to see a picket line.
I know I'd have Gina's face on it. Bring back the tomahawk. This point was very important for Joanna. Nice receive here. And just good placement into a good return from the middle.
I mean, I think for Joanna, especially on the forehand diagonal, not trying to match that early pace from Gina, but giving herself more space to play with a bit more power.
Critical times in a best of 5.
Are we going to see another 11-9 game? See what Joanna does here on the serve and how Gina goes about the receive.
Off the edge.
The back edge. So it is 11-9 again.
Great work by both players. It's a big rally here, but Gina added some pressure.
Gina making that switch to play forehand was a good move, but I feel like it was just too much down the center line. 11-9, Joanna Sung 2-1 in the lead. But again, not really any separation here between both players apart from those last 2 points.
I think it comes down to executing on the serve and serve receive. And maybe just mental, you know? It's so close. There's not a lot of technical, difference or like strategic difference. Like who can hold it together at 9-9 when you don't have the serve?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that the tomahawk should be used more, and if it's going to be pendulum, maybe less backspin. Just because Joanna's heavy pushes worked well against Gina, Gina's heavy pushes worked well against Joanna. At that point, it's like, do I play more backspin serves? Do I go no spin? Or do I stick with more topspin? And I think for Gina, the topspins worked better for her.
Something we saw just this last point here, Joanna attacks to Gina's forehand. Sometimes we see a block more often than we see a counter, and that could be a great opening.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Joanna doing it more in the first game, directing that ball down the line more. But also for Gina, she can prepare for it because Joanna tends to play diagonals. So when she serves short to the forehand, Usually she's targeting the open space on the backhand. Now when she's targeting down the line, she's moving the serve over to the middle.
I just want to comment about both of these players and their experience. They're not new to this kind of setting. They're very, very experienced players, played on the international circuit, so some of this is normal to them. If you take a look at that replay, it's like that heavy backhand loop and then adjusting to the topspin. It can be challenging sometimes.
Yeah, for a player that really punches the ball forward a lot in the topspin rallies, she lifted that one more than I thought.
Well, nice work by Joanna. Down the line counter loop. Right there, really nice move. Gina was waiting on that forehand side. Timeout. I think a good time to call it. Gina's losing a little speed, a little adrenaline, a little momentum. So Matt, what do you think we'll see as they come back?
I think hopefully a little bit more intensity from Gina because she needs it. Like you said, she kind of trailed off a little bit at the start of this game. When she's playing intensely, she's playing great. Joanna looks like she's
ready
got
to
a
go.
pep in her step, so Gina needs to match that energy.
And sort of shed some of the pressure that she's feeling and just really like open up and play. Because I think sometimes when you're behind and you know the team is relying on you, and
it's hard not to think about the team. It's like just focus on what's on the court. Well, successful campaign from Barbara Way. The tomahawk is back. Joanna seems to have gotten a little more comfortable receiving it by moving over and backhand flicking. I think if I were Gina, I'd be almost moving that tomahawk a little bit more over. I'd be interested to see how Joanna would handle it if it kind of fell off the side of the table a bit.
Definitely Joanna playing that forehand corner now. They have a clear strategy.
Yeah, Joanna definitely more dominant across that diagonal than the backhand.
Yeah. Working that wide forehand.
I think the smart thing for Joanna is that she's happy to keep the ball nice and short across the middle until she finds that gap where she's like, okay, now I can play forehand.
Tomahawk campaign, long serve. She brings it out when she's in trouble.
Just not quite getting enough bite in that contact.
And she's setting it up well. It just barely didn't go over, hit the top of the net.
The thing is, she plays so sharply in her shots when she's in a topspin rally. When Joanna plays the heavy backspin, she doesn't really have enough friction in the contact.
Yeah, it almost feels like the contact's not quite strong.
Yeah. This one of the bigger gaps we've seen in the scoreline throughout the match.
There it is. This time, enough contact.
I mean, Gina has to force the backhand diagonal. You know, if Joanna's going to play short until she sees an opportunity to attack the forehand, Gina's got to get out of that first and go after the angle that she's most comfortable with.
And she did it right there. You can watch just forcing, like backhand middle, and Joanna trying to change it into the forehand.
So, we see a timeout from UCLA now.
And you feel the momentum change. We call the timeout, feel the momentum change. Joanna being coached by Angie, who we will see up next. I think for UCLA, they're here to win. I mean, they were very much stacked. And for Cornell, a little Cinderella story that they are here in the finals.
Time.
And the Cornell team is a full team of freshmen.
That's right, yeah. So hopefully we'll be seeing plenty more of them in NCTTA. Joanna comes back from the timeout and stamps a bit more authority.
She survived some great attacks from Gina. And she took a step back and kind of played defense. Wow.
What a play.
Wow. Take a look. This is a lot of shots I can have so quick.
You can see Joanna really targeting the down the line shots. Gina focusing more on the cross court.
Serve return. Very hard in the end game. No more timeouts.
Now would be a great time to get your picket out. Looks like she's going to go maybe for a hook serve here.
Oh, something new a little bit.
One match point saved. Maintaining the theme here. It's either going to be 11-9 or closer. And she gets
serves.
both.
Two new serves. Gina has a lot of serve tricks in her bag.
Maybe time to start a new campaign.
Hook serve.
Yeah. 10-10.
Big rally right here.
Again, Gina doing a great job of covering that down the line ball on the forehand.
Looking really nice. So focused. Oh, and Gina with 4 points in a row to recover from that 8-10 deficit. 2 hook serves and 2 nice rallies. This is just
I have
top
a feeling we're going to be seeing more of that hook serve in Game 5.
Or maybe there'll be some new serve in the bag of tricks. So, as close as it can be.
I mean, that scoreline's crazy. Genuinely a 5th game that could go in either direction.
And it's hard to even tell from the beginning, because actually we've seen some large, like 4-point leads in the beginning that were closed very rapidly. And many more big rallies in this match, or in this last game, than earlier. But I think for Joanna, that forehand, wide forehand, is still like she's on top if she can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the backhand down the line from Joanna, it doesn't really create enough space. She needs to get a bit more of a wide angle. So she's really got to try and target maybe the ball that comes to the middle for her. She can get more of a wide angle to the forehand.
Wow.
But I think that down the line angle is still inside the table, and I think Gina's done a great job of starting to cover it more. Big forehand.
Off the tomahawk.
Off the tomahawk.
Bringing it back. Early game this time.
A lot of these top spin serve variations are working really well for her.
Again, Gina off to a nice start. We have no more timeouts left, so they're on their own. Still get that towel break every 6 points.
0-3.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Really nice play from Joanna Sung.
Wow, that's a nice shot. You can see great openings.
A couple of forehands almost out of the pocket.
And right there down the line. Top spin.
Very aggressive follow-ups. Joanna Sung survives that encounter.
And I think Gina is getting a little bit predictable for Joanna, like she's sort of moving and returning it. And a very spinny backhand.
It's a good setup from Joanna, and really like digging in that receive against the tomahawk serve.
But I think she knows that was topspin. And she was like, oh, that may not be the best way to do it going forward, but we'll see. There we go. Heavy push into the backhand, bringing back some of the strategies we saw earlier in the match.
So players are going to switch ends. 5-2 lead for Gina Fu, looking to put Cornell on the board
2-5.
first in this women's team college championship final.
Good receive by Gina. Again, no more timeouts.
Gina's really catching some momentum here in the fifth.
And really good attacks. Gina's really jumping on the ball, kind of very confident, pushing Joanna farther back. This very aggressive play, high quality on every shot. Top spin.
Yeah, I think in a lot of these exchanges where Joanna's playing earlier in the bounce, and she's trying to maintain that speed with Gina, I just don't know if she can match it. She's almost better off
Slowing it
giving
down.
herself space, yeah. Yeah, wind up a little more spin, more power.
And here, opening with kind of a short exchange instead of going straight into Gina's game. You know, there is a 5-point lead, but it's not over. Momentum has moved so many different times for this match. Wow.
A great shot.
Wow, wow. Twin sister Rachel also has that shot. It's very effective.
She's watching on from close behind the table.
Bring back the tomahawk. I think looking for that forehand opening or a direct win. And it's the right setup.
Gina's been surprisingly quiet this match. I know when she was winning points in that other important match for Cornell, she was very vocal.
Oh, and a really nice backhand attack. That point was very, very important to set her up with 5 match points. Oh, and it is.
Step around forehand.
And it is Joanna with this, like, I need to bring it out now kind of feeling. We've not seen a step around forehand from her this entire match. Nervy serves. Still have the tomahawk, still have the hook. And one more opportunity.
It was set up for her. Maybe a little bit shorter than she was anticipating, but definitely had the height that she wanted.
Yeah, I think this is all mental now. You know, who can hold on?
And Gina Fu gets it done.
She gets it done, gives Cornell the first point, really keeps their chances alive.
Really impressive match from both players. Ultimately, Gina Fu winning 3-2.
And she really pushed herself for that, especially in that 4th game.
Yeah.
Down 10-8,
Yeah.
4 in a row. I mean, that really was the turning point. So, Cornell on the board. That is a big match.
That was a huge match. Best of 5 team tie. So still a ways to go for Cornell if they want to complete the fairy tale. Muskan Gupta and Angie Tan up next on table 1. All of the matches from this final will be on table 1.
And again, another critical match for Cornell. I mean, Cornell is really kind of stacked in their first 2 players. And that's really been carrying them kind of throughout this tournament. You see, as you look at these replays, Gina's mentally very tough, especially in that 4th game. Very impressed by how that kind of pulled that out. Smart use of both of their timeouts, but Gina bringing that hook serve in.
Which she didn't bring back, really.
No, she didn't. That's like the really desperate time serve.
Always nice to have that in the bag.
So, Angie Tan, Muskan Gupta, next round. Lots of smiles on the Cornell side.
second match of the Women's Team Championship Finals here at the 2025 College Table Tennis Championships. I'm Matt Hetherington with Barbara Way. Cornell up 1-0.
The Cinderella story continues. The number 4 seed
upset NYU to reach the final. Went all the way down to the doubles. And now they lead against UCLA with Gina Fu winning in a very close 5-game match over Joanna Sung. Now it's up to Angie Tan to right the record, right the ship for UCLA. She's playing against Muskan Gupta.
Both of these players actually from the Bay Area. So I wonder if this may not be their first ever sighting of each other.
Muskan, when she played a few matches here on Table 1 yesterday. She's able to play with some pretty impressive backhand power. Angie Tan missing her serve. Can't afford to drop points like that. Big forehand there from Gupta. UCLA, while they have the women's doubles champions at the bottom of their roster in the doubles, they still don't want it to go all the way to that decider.
Doubles is so volatile.
Well, especially knowing that Gina and Muskan won against Tiffany and Anastasia in the decider against NYU.
So Muskan Gupta actually out of 888 Table Tennis Center, which I believe
it's a long way from Cornell.
a long way from Cornell.
Gupta going for the flex so far. Angie Tan looking pretty solid out there.
And Angie Tan out of Silicon Valley Table Tennis Center. So these are Bay Area neighbors competing now for different schools.
Angie really has a lot of different gears in her game. She has a very nice kind of slow spin opening, heavy top spin, and then switches gears and hits some extremely hard flat forehand kill shots, which Muskan just experienced firsthand. Gupta holds her own pretty well on the backhand side.
And again, a similar strategy we saw from the first match, heavy push into the backhand.
Yeah, and Angie looks like she's not doing anything too complicated with the serve game. She's just keeping a lot of them short forehand for now. Gupta again with the power backhand. And Angie still has 3 game points in the bag. There's that slow spin forehand from Tan. 11-7. The first game goes to Angie. On her way to getting UCLA back into this team final match.
Time. This is game 2. UCLA to serve 0-0.
Certainly felt like a long time out. Well, a long time between games there. Victor gets the first point on the board for Cornell in the second game. But Angie Tan has 1 game in the bag.
Angie is very aggressive. You know, she can really level up here. I think Gupta can really hold on that backhand line. It's more about the other components.
Angie does take some bigger swings on the backhand sometimes, but they are quite high risk. And again, Angie just really steady on the forehand opening.
I feel like Angie has like 2 gears, like slow and then like race car,
Yeah.
you know? Oh, nice kind of touch play, but a little lucky. Again, that backhand.
Really great backhand. Just noticed Angela Guan's shown up here, and she's on the cameras.
Yes, I saw her
Former
earlier.
women's national champion at college level.
And her dad is here too. I ran into him. So having a little reunion here.
Let 2-4. 2-5.
I think Gupta here needs to play a little more aggressively. You know, I don't think she can win if she's playing passive.
No.
Yeah, she has to play kind of aggressive. Even if maybe you miss a couple,
Yeah.
blocking is too hard.
Yeah, and she has to target Angie's backhand side. I think Angie takes a little bit more time to be aggressive with the backhand. And Gupta can definitely take that away from Angie if she's playing those more powerful punch shots. More one-sided this second game.
Yeah, much more one-sided. I think Angie's really not letting Gupta play her game. You know, there's no opening for
Yeah.
her. Well, UCLA definitely does not want to go down 0-2.
No.
Even if they are very confident, you know, in their number 3 and 4, it's just not a good place to be in.
There's the backhand wind up from Tan, and she's up 10-2 here in the second game.
we think about top level, I think Gupta's highest USATT rating is at 2250, but Angie closer to 2400. And so there is a kind of a level difference. Not impossible, but difficult.
Yeah, I think also a bigger experience difference. I know Muskan played for the US in the World Youth, I believe, but Angie's been playing youth events for the US for many years, and just kind of gives you that, I mean, she's too young for me to call her a hardened veteran of table tennis, but the years of experience do speak for themselves.
Yes, those, you just don't freak out as much. You know, you don't, you kind of know your plan and you execute it.
So far in this match, Angie has won twice as many points as Muskan, so she's got to be feeling confident going into game 3.
You know, not much to change on Angie's side. Keep it consistent. Wait for your shot.
Yeah.
You know, not too much to say, I think, in that corner. What we're looking for Muskan is, I think she has to play aggressive. She has to find that opening. And our seats are filling up for this women's final.
It's always nice to be doing commentary because you know that at least you're guaranteed to have a chair next to the court.
Game 3, Hartnell to serve, 0-0.
Okay, let's see how the momentum moves. The first couple points of game 2. Muskan maybe got a little pep talk in the corner.
Some good positive affirmation there from Gupta after a nice backhand.
You might start seeing Angie vary some things. No longer coasting, I would say, but we'll have to see. She was looking very comfortable in the first 2 games.
Nice counter there from Gupta.
And Gupta, I do feel, has come with renewed energy, like a big pep talk.
2-4.
And many more attacks and confidence. Now or never.
Wow, big backhand from Angie Tan.
So relaxed. Again, both from the Bay Area. I do believe they must have met as juniors together.
4-5.
Oh, a nice backhand serve.
5-5.
All tied up here in game 3.
Led. 5-5.
Okay, we're keeping it tied up. I think the real change here is Muskan kind of taking the initiative. Yeah, taking the initiative.
Much
out
more assertive.
Yes, and bringing out some serves that I think Angie has struggled with. And that backhand, though.
Yeah. If Angie gets her backhand up over the table, there's a lot of action on that ball.
Yet another good serve by Muskan Gupta. My picket line's now going to have backhand serves.
Yeah. I had a bit of a identity crisis yesterday. We had a lot of doubles matches going on and so many players serving backhand in the doubles, and I was kind of mind blown. And I looked at Sean and I was like, is it me? Is this normal? Like, it just seems like a lot more than usual. So
Watch out for that backhand.
the tough thing about when you're playing Angie, when she hits the backhand from the middle, is that because she kind of puts a lot of body into it and she moves into the contact, you don't know where it's going. It looks like it's going cross court. Small change of wrist direction, it goes out to the other corner. Gupta back to the bench, trails by 2, but she's made some great positive changes in this third game.
Yeah, especially on her serve. Especially on that serve. That first, maybe the first point coming back is going to be really important. I think Gupta has the serve. Again, Cornell is sporting an entire freshman team, so they have a lot of space, a lot of years to develop. And what a fairy tale first attempt, you know, with such a young team to be in the finals, to be one up in the finals.
Time. Seven, 9.
Oh, and it is Gupta with that first point after the timeout.
8, 9.
And
Nice.
very, very nice aggressive play.
9, 9.
And again, nice backhand attack.
Gotta admit, I didn't have this on my bingo card. She's shifted things up a lot here in this game, and Angie Tan's under a little pressure here. Handles the pressure like a pro.
Changes up, goes into that forehand line, and that forehand cross court.
10, 10.
Wow.
Wow, what a great point. And she did such a good job of picking that ball up. It's very close to the edge, but Muskan really went in on it. Great shots from both players.
And that
top
heavy
edge.
push.
Yeah, just push it back.
Really heavy, really low. It's like counterintuitive that sometimes you can have a very aggressive push. Keeping it short here. Oh, a bit of a lucky break, I think.
There is a lot of risk because Angie moves so much while she's playing a backhand. Usually most players are pretty set in their position when they contact the ball, but Angie's moving a lot of the time. It does make it difficult to control, especially under pressure. And Muskan Gupta takes game 3.
Wow, wow, wow. Keeps Cornell's hopes alive. That was not on your bingo card.
No.
Saw quite a few kind of errors from Angie towards the end. And
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll continue to see that as we move into game 4, or if there'll be some adjustment, given this break between the games.
Yeah, I think the backhand across the middle, it can be pretty risky for Angie. Again, just moving while you're contacting the ball, it creates a lot of there are a lot of moving parts to those shots and a lot of variables that you have to control, and I think those points were so important for her, where her forehand is really steady. Maybe it would have been better for her to take a little step to the other side, spin the first ball in with her forehand. I think her forehand first loop is definitely a little more reliable. But yeah, she was looking to pick the more aggressive backhand loop attack.
I think Angie here going to come out. She's going to come out really aggressive. Yeah, you can see that immediately, that the energy is different. Pressure's off. It's not end game.
Yeah, I think usually when when you have one player that's a little bit stronger, and she won the first 2 games fairly comfortably, when Gupta wins the 3rd game, you almost feel like Angie has to come back out and be like,
No.
I need to make sure that you know that I'm the stronger player here. It's like, mark your dominion, but Gupta's still playing really well. Great 3rd game.
This is very close. This is very close. It's not, as one-sided as we once thought when we started the match.
I mean, also for Gupta, it's like when you're in this position and you've done really well and you've gotten to the final and you know that the other team is like
Really
all of their
stacked.
players are really strong. Being able to come out here and really compete, regardless of whether you win the match or lose the match, just being able to compete, it feels great. Like, it's such a good feeling. So for her to win that 3rd game, I think she's probably feeling happy with herself already that she was able to come out here and be like, hey, okay, first 2 games didn't go my way, but
I got this. I have something to show you.
Yeah, 3rd game was something. See how this 4th game goes for her. Again, Angie looking for those steadier forehand openings.
2-5.
I really do think that the 3rd game would have ended differently if Angie had favored the forehand more like she is now.
Wow, look at that angle on that backhand.
Nice balance of power and placement there.
Here, straight down the line right there. backhand. Heavy push to the backhand. Let that be a lesson in strategy. Very heavy push to the backhand. Off the edge.
A little breathing room there for Angie.
Good work by Gupta, though. Nice spin.
Yeah, that backhand opening was nice. Very solid.
That aggressive backhand.
I would say among the female players, Angie has one of the more powerful backhands. She just winds up more than most women's players would. A lot of the women's game, they want to play so quick. The strokes are very compact and close to the table.
Yeah, but Angie does take that big wind up. That's true, and that gives her more power, also more variation, also a little bit more risk.
That's kind of 80s. It's like a very 80s backhand. A bit more European.
Wow, that block. I think that's the first block that's really come back. Here, big wind up. Gupta was right there.
Big wind up, longer recovery time. Gupta can do a good job of anticipating the placement and get a racket on the ball. Good. Worked well for her. You can see Angie between points is definitely taking a little bit more time just to keep herself centered. She is under perhaps more pressure now than she was at the start of this match.
I think Gupta has to find that aggressive place again. Or a good, kind of a good placement that also works. Forcing those errors from Angie. Kind of taking your time, keeping it short.
Yeah, there's that backhand swing out to the other corner. Sets up 3 match points.
And just needs one.
3-1, Angie Tan wins. Muskan Gupta, really solid third game. Some good pressure in the fourth. I think a pretty good showing for her for Cornell. It's now 1-1. First team to win 3 matches will win the gold medal in the women's team event here in Rockford, Illinois at UW Health Sports Factory. The team event will, women's and co-ed team events will conclude today. We had doubles yesterday. We had a World University Games trial on Thursday. And we still have tomorrow more men's and women's singles. But right now it's UCLA and Cornell tied at 1-1. Crystal Liu and Sarabhi Shastri are coming out next to play the third singles.
Crystal's ready. Crystal. The colors red and blue, one to choose.
Red.
Red. Seriously or two side? Side? Okay. Ladies, you have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, it's 1-1 in this women's team finals between Cornell and UCLA. Gina Fu winning the opening match in 5 against Joanna Sung. Angie Tan leveling the score with a 3-1 win over Muskan Gupta. And now it's Sarabi Shastri representing Cornell. Crystal Liu on the near side. Crystal reached the women's doubles final. Well, that was going to be an early fault call.
Yeah, the first one.
The serve was missed anyway.
0-1.
So Crystal, silver medal in the women's doubles with Carrie Fang.
And it was an all UCLA final.
All UCLA final. She's short pips forehand. It's really interesting to see her and Carrie playing doubles together. You have a short pips forehand and a chopper. But it worked much better than I thought it would. They had really great movement in those matches around each other, and Crystal hit some very aggressive forehand shots, and this is kind of where UCLA would expect to pick up some momentum and try and hit the home stretch. They definitely have a little bit more strength across the board for all 4 matches than Cornell, which is more top heavy.
And again, Cornell with their, it's really Cinderella story to be here. I mean, they are the 4th seed, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but winning that semifinal was a big deal.
Yeah.
And again, Cornell bringing a team of only freshmen.
Yeah, and also in the quarterfinal, it was 4 against 6 when they played Illinois. And that went down to the doubles. So that was a really close quarterfinal. I think Cornell's done a really good job of being present in the match. So there's been no moment where UCLA kind of felt, okay, we're in a really comfortable spot here. Cornell's always managed to keep some pressure on them and be like, hey, we're still here.
It is really impressive what Cornell has been able to do with really like two very strong players. But UCLA is so deep, incredibly impressive.
Looks like Crystal's definitely going to have the upper hand in the rallies. Shastri definitely gets her racket into the right position, but that little extra topspin from Crystal Liu certainly giving her some troubles.
Crystal Liu from California Table Tennis. So out in LA, that's national team coach Gao Jun's club. And not only on duty for NCTTA, but like continuing to play and coach in other events.
I watched a great documentary piece on Gao Jun. I'm way behind on it because I think it was about 8 months old. And I only watched it a couple of days ago. But it was really, really good. It was on YouTube.
She has quite a story.
Yeah.
She really does. So it's Crystal Liu, definitely the upper hand here. And just really showing the depth of the UCLA women's team. And they don't even have their Olympians playing, Amy and Rachel. Amy getting ready for the World Cup in Macau coming up. And in Croatia right now. And playing another WTT event, so she's very busy. And yet the team is so deep. And Matt, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm so impressed with how many women's players there are.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a bit of a spiel about this on the live stream yesterday. I love that there's a separate women's division. And, you know, obviously in the co-ed teams, it's great. There are a lot of women playing in the co-ed event as well. Harvard has more women in their team than men. But it's so important for the social aspect of table tennis. And the social aspect is much more important for the women, I think, than the men. They need to be out there enjoying what they're doing. Otherwise, why would they do it, right? And having the separate women's event where all of the girls can play together as a team, I think it's really great for the sport. And the sport struggled so much to get more women playing table tennis. I think having more events like this is really important. So I love that part of college table tennis.
And it's a nice showcase, right, of how you can continue playing table tennis, you know, after you turn 18, after you go to college, and there's a community there waiting for you, and it's a large community. It's not just like 3 people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of teams from all over the country, and as we saw with Gina as well, some players from Canada that have come in, and it's also very multicultural. I mean, if you go through and you look at the origins of a lot of these players, you have players from Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, China, Taiwan,
Canada.
Yeah, Canada. It's, you know, even Wesleyan, Sweden, Sri Lanka, like everywhere. So, yeah, it's a great melting pot of great table tennis and very social weekend as well. So right now, Crystal Liu up 6-0. Shastri with the serve. She has a nice serve and follow-up there on the backhand. She does get some good action on that backhand serve.
She does. Her backhand serve is quite good.
I feel like that was our fault. Commentator's curse. goes in the net. Shastri with a couple of points on the board. Yeah, good backhand control. The transition to the forehand maybe a little bit late. Definitely more set on the backhand side. Nice shot.
Very
Straight
nice
at the body.
shot.
Cornell bench loved that one.
9-3.
And Crystal Liu fires right back.
10-3.
Liu looking to put UCLA
11-3.
up.
0.
Second game, also 11-3 for Crystal Liu.
And Crystal Liu here is all business. Like, get this point. We are such heavy favorites, UCLA.
Yeah, get the job done.
Get the job done.
Get Faith Tung out here for the fourth singles. And
do what we came here to do. You know, I think they really felt like that. They've been very dominant in the other events like doubles,
Yeah.
women's doubles.
yeah, and I was going to say favorite in the singles, but they're actually not.
They're actually
With
not.
Sarah Jolly and
And
Kelly
Kelly,
Yan are the top 2 seeds in the women's singles.
again, the level of women's play is also extremely high.
So Shastri starting with the backhand serve.
0-1.
I always wonder, like, for a player like Shastri, while she's out there playing, she must just be going through her head of, like, I never imagined that we would be in the final right now playing
That's right.
against UCLA. It's a really big moment. Obviously, like, quite intimidating.
I think intimidating, but also it's so cool. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, we are in the final. We're the best in the nation.
It's like, regardless of whether we win or lose, I get a silver medal at least.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Shastri staying in that rally.
0-4.
And so important for this all freshman Cornell team to kind of think about how they're going to develop their team in the next 4 years.
Yeah. A bit of a serve error there from Shastri. Sometimes when she serves that backhand, she does lift her elbow a little bit. Can make it difficult to... Nice.
Nice hit.
Forehand straight at the body. She's hit a couple of good forehands right at the body of Crystal. And both times Crystal's kind of been like, I can do that as well.
Let me make sure I show everybody.
Yeah.
I got this.
6-1.
It's really funny because when I watch Crystal hit her forehand, even though she's shake hand and Galjun's pen hold, you can kind of see from the action and the wind up, it looks a little bit Galjun-esque.
It really does. Now that you mention it, you totally see it.
Maybe not that one, but the other one. Shastri 3-6. Again, just lifting that elbow a little bit too much.
7-3.
You have to be careful when you're serving long and fast. Goes for the backhand down the line. Like you said, Crystal's all business here.
Get the job done. We're here to win the title, and you get my point. Nice rally.
Yeah, really good rally.
Cornell has really And they've won a lot of close matches to get here.
So 10-3. Crystal Lu with a number of match points here. And Shastri sends the serve off the side. Crystal Lu from UCLA wins the match 3-0 and puts UCLA in the lead for the first time.
Yes, she has done her job. And she moves UCLA into the lead 2-1. Now setting up that fourth match. Faith Tung from UCLA and Heidi Lim from Cornell. These replays from the match. Again, what a moment for Cornell, even to be here.
So the fourth singles is about to start, and Heidi Lim actually picked to switch sides. You don't see that very often. Usually the players pick their serve, and they're like, the umpires will be like, which side do you want? And they're like, well, I'm here, so I'll take this one. Heidi Lim was adamant that she wanted this side. Nice looking forehand in the warm-up here.
Yeah.
She's the only player in the tournament with pink rubber on her backhand.
Oh, that's fun. New ITTF rule, you can play with a different color other than red.
Blue, green, pink, or purple, or red. Most players have kind of stuck to the classic black and red. I think pink has been the least common one. I've only seen
There's a lot of green.
2 or 3. Yeah, green. I think more on the long pips, a lot of green.
This is the fourth singles of the women's team's final. UCLA versus Cornell. UCLA to serve 0-0.
So the match gets underway. 1 point each. Heidi.
Responded yesterday over on table 2. So let me know. Let me know if we have more ceremony.
Heidi coming out very focused. Like, I need to get some of these attacks in. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely got to focus on bringing that early pressure. I mean, kind of look back and imagine how the match between Angie and Muskan Gupta would have gone if the third game was actually the first game.
Yes, exactly.
Could have changed things a little. Faith missing her serve.
Oh, miss hit by Heidi, but that was fun. Straight down the line. That loop. Oh, and Heidi is bringing it up 7-3 this first game. Cornell stacking their team a bit. Heidi and Sarabi, so putting Sarabi in that third spot and Heidi in the fourth spot. Been consistent across the competition.
Heidi actually originally from Singapore. So again, another addition to the cultural melting pot of the competition. Big backhand from Faith Tung. Still trails by 2.
Heidi, the social chair of the table tennis club at Cornell.
Faith Tung pretty solid with the backhand open. Ties things up at 7 points each.
That is a great backhand move.
I think neither of these players want to be stuck blocking. They're both going heavy push, but when you push heavy, you've got to expect when the ball comes back, there's a lot of topspin on it.
And a good serve. Cornell's bench having a ball.
Heavy spin, clips the net a little bit. Can definitely be harder to control those net shots when the ball incoming has got a lot of rotation on it.
Wow. Wow. Look at that serve return. So much confidence. The Cornell bench is very smiley. Again, everything is sort of icing on the cake for them. They've already done so much. And of course, they want to win this championship.
Nice flick placement from Tung. Still trails by 1. See how Heidi handles this second game point.
Wow. Wow, wow, what a nice block. And is Cornell staying in it?
I think Faith maybe a little bit too predictable in the sense of push, receive the serve long, get into those backhand to backhand push rallies, and then she picks a ball. The open a lot of the time is mostly cross court or in the direction of cross court. So for Heidi, she probably knew as soon as Faith dropped her racket, I got to get my racket up. I got to control the first ball. So she might have been a little step ahead there at the end. Takes the first game 11-9. And Cornell dream very much still alive here.
Yes, the Cornell dream is very much still alive. And we see more people kind of coming in to watch because this Cornell fairy tale keeps going.
Time.
We're going to watch Faith as she opens up this second game, whether she'll become just much more aggressive, like looping into the wide forehand, bringing out some different serves.
Game 2, Cornell to serve, 0-0.
I was watching Heidi play yesterday. I feel like she really played like at her level and higher in that previous game. So now it's kind of watching Faith and how does she kind of react to that.
Clips it in. I feel like, especially throughout the first game, she kind of has more of like a nervous energy aura around her. Faith. It's like she doesn't really look comfortable in this situation.
I mean, wouldn't it be incredible if they went to doubles? I mean, Cornell, that is such a great accomplishment for Cornell if they can force that. But here's Faith is going to do everything she can to not allow that to happen.
0-4.
I mean, honestly, I almost feel like in those backhand push exchanges, Faith might be better off letting Heidi be the player that opens first. Maybe. It's a bit of a hard first bounce on the table on the serve. Faith Tung 6-0 lead here in the second. Big setup. Execution not quite there.
6-1.
She's done a good job with a couple of those heavier backspin long serves.
Nice work by Heidi. I think she is not, I don't know, she's showing the world what she can do, you know, in this match. And she's not giving up. Nice backhand.
I mean, if I'm Faith, I'm almost starting to think about either going wider to the backhand or maybe down the line. If she's going to make that backhand opening, I do feel like the shot that Heidi's most comfortable with is blocking that backhand loop.
Yes,
on the
I
cross-court
agree.
angle. She's handled that better than anything else. Certainly the tides have turned here in game 2, and Faith Tung leads 9-3.
It's a nice block off the net. Take a look at that again. She gets it back. I mean, those are pretty challenging.
Yeah.
Look at that backhand loop. It's good.
It is good, but Faith was ready for it. It just really seems like the player who opens up with their backhand is at a disadvantage.
Well, because they want to play those topspin rallies.
Time. This is game 3. UCLA to serve 0-0.
So let's start a game 3. Heidi Lim, first player on the board.
Her Faith doesn't look that comfortable in this match, strangely. I felt like she would come out with a lot of confidence. You know, like, I'm here, I'm doing my job.
Yeah, it just definitely gives nervous energy vibes.
1-1.
It's the body language mostly that. And you have to be careful with that because you end up not having the right balance of tension in your shots. You can see, like in that example, it's kind of like, you know, you end up hitting the ball in a little bit of like a noodle, I guess.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes you're too loose.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of different psychological things.
That's much better.
That's a nice forehand.
2-2.
Yeah, that's a good example. Just when you don't have the right management of tension in your shots, you can go from hitting one really great one and then the next one just we talked about it in other matches as well. There's the friction's not quite there.
Oh, and 2 in a row. It's been fun to kind of watch the Cornell bench. They're having an emotional roller coaster in this final.
Definitely much more stern faces on UCLA's bench.
Sometimes it's hard to be at the top. Oftentimes it's very hard to be at the top.
I'll take your word for it. Not a place where I spent much time when I was playing, so. One game each, 4 points each. Definitely a lot of pressure. I think Heidi has been rising to the occasion a little better.
5-4.
Yeah, she's very focused. She's not like, well, we're so underdog, or like, she's like, let's go.
Even
I got this.
The reaction of Faith after she hits a screaming winner is kind of just like, meh. Like, I want to get off this table. This is a position that I don't necessarily want to be in. I think that's just the closeness of the match and the importance of the match. That's sport. That's competition for you.
And I think Heidi is really laying it all out there. You know,
Yeah.
this is all I've got. I'm going to just show, I'm just going to play it out because this is my chance. I'm going to talk about rating gap. Heidi's NCTTA rating is 760.
760.
760.
Wow, that needs an adjustment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Faith is 2215. And so this is not the outcome I think anyone expected.
Yeah.
8-5.
But I do think, yeah, Heidi's rating needs an adjustment.
Yeah, that rating doesn't really add too much context to what you're seeing on the table now. Great serve, great serve.
Into the middle.
5-9.
So some space here for Faith Tung with 5 game points to take a 2-1 lead. Being up 2-1 would certainly alleviate some of this pressure. She
Yes.
does go up 2-1.
She doesn't look too pleased about it, but she must be feeling some relief.
You'd hope so. That looks a little bit more relaxed.
And I think for Heidi, what an opportunity to play here. What an opportunity to show what she can do. And also that 760 rating should seriously get adjusted.
Well, hopefully Faith doesn't go back and watch this. She'll be asking me questions about why I compared her to a noodle. She does look a lot more relaxed on the bench when she's around her team than when she's out on the table. I think just, you know, when you're playing someone like this and some of the balls are a little bit loose and Faith has had a chance to win the point outright and she's made those errors, it just gives you like little inklings of doubt and they kind of build up over a match where you almost don't feel as confident at executing stuff. It's usually really basic.
And Faith, I think, here taking her time. Push, 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 loop. Find the right time.
Does seem like the match has started to go a little bit more in Faith's favor. It doesn't necessarily look like it in the middle of the games, but the score line of the last 2 games is quite comfortable.
Yes. I feel like every point Heidi wins, Cornell is just like, that's a gift. You know, they're still writing their Cinderella story.
just a half long opening. That was pretty close to the edge of the table.
I know my new campaign is backhand serves.
Four, three. Three, five.
I wonder how the UCLA bench is feeling right now. Honestly, just watching Faith playing right now, I kind of feel nervous with her. Even though she's winning, even though she's ahead. Maybe it's the body language. She's 6-3 in the lead, 2-1 up in games.
Timeout.
And it's timeout from Cornell.
Andy's going to do that on court winners. But no award.
So Cornell looks like they're going to use their full timeout here. Faith Tung up 6-3.
3, 6.
And Cornell potentially just 5 points away. Not Cornell, UCLA, 5 points away from winning the championship.
It's definitely a better shot from
7, 3.
Faith. Her attacking game has gotten better and better as the match has gone on.
Yeah, she's relaxed a bit. And look at Heidi go. That is a great backhand. Wow. Off
Well,
the
lucky
edge.
catch on the edge, but
4,
nice little snap counter there from Lim. Goes for it again.
It's the right choice. It's the right choice to go for it. But backs against the wall for Cornell here.
Tung misses another forehand opening.
9, 6.
Victory is close for the UCLA team, but it's not quite there yet.
Might have a UCLA timeout if Faith can't get some momentum back here. She gets it with the serve.
And 4 match points, 4 tie points. 4 points for the championship title.
And Faith Tung gets it done in UCLA. Big celebration. Joanna celebrated so hard, she's just cracked herself up.
Yes, and what a great moment for UCLA.
So UCLA are the women's team champions here in Rockford, Illinois at the 2025 National College Table Tennis Championships. Not the smoothest road, but still a fairly dominant display from a pretty strong UCLA team. Gina Fu winning the sole point for Cornell with her win over Joanna Sung. Some close matchups, but ultimately UCLA come out on top.
And a word towards Cornell. What a Cinderella story. A whole freshman team finishing second this year. Look forward to seeing them in future NCTTA competitions.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have a little interview on court here. And right after that, we'll head into the co-ed team final between Texas Wesleyan, the #1 seeds, and California Berkeley. That will be coming up fairly shortly, so stick with us.
And a big congratulations to our women's team champions. Fancy seeing you guys here again. I see you brought some friends with you this time around. How are you guys feeling?
We're feeling really good and proud because our team is strong overall, which is why we won.
Well done, well done. It seems that you guys had a pretty tough match coming all the way up here. Do you have any words for anybody here at home or anybody else in the arena?
I'm going to pass the mic so everyone gets a chance to say something. Thank you for supporting all my dream all the way here. To my friends and family back at home and in Singapore and in the US.
Yeah, if my parents are watching or my friends, thanks for watching. And you guys played so well and everyone else played so well as well.
Thanks for having us. It was a fun teams tournament to play.
Thank you everyone for your support. It was really fun to play today.
Really appreciate all the support we had throughout this whole tournament, and we really enjoy coming back and having fun.
Thank you so much to all my friends and especially my teammates because of the reason we're here today.
Awesome. Everybody give it up. Congratulations again to your women's team champions.